I gave you my heart.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Lionheart Show, and boy am I going to talk on a hot topic today. We're going to talk about boundaries. Oh my goodness, do we have them? We all have boundaries, and most of the time we let people cross them, and then we're upset, we're angry, we react, we get depressed, we have anxiety, all of those things. So if you start to recognize what your boundaries are and you don't let people cross them, you're going to be able to sit in more confidence, and those other things that have been going on in your life aren't going to be going on as much. You're going to be sitting in peace, you people. Let me tell you, it's true. So here's one. Corrosion. People who are good at taking advantage of other people, boundaries can often or mimic pleasantry to get you to conform to their will. If you feel like a boundary is being crossed, it probably is. Just so you're aware. Pay attention to your body. It's speaking out to you. Self-esteem is another one. People will tend to be their best self when they are feeling good. They know what they want and they're either getting it or they're well on their way. But what happens when you're suffering? What happens when you aren't feeling good? What happens when you have just had a huge letdown and you're trying to recover? When I look back on these situations in my life, their first commonality was my state of mind and how I dealt with them. There are many ways in which people who tend to take advantage of you. They can fly under your radar, and the first of which is after you have suffered a loss. A great tactic that salespeople all over around the world, and even ministers in the church around the world, use is to establish a weakness and then capitalize on it. If you are straight out of a relationship or workplace where you felt like you failed or are generally lacking confidence, you are more susceptible to people who want to emotionally manipulate you. They see you as an easy target to get what they want out of the situation. People. This is what I do. What Lionheart lives her life by. I meditate on every circumstance. I pray and I seek peace on every circumstance. I also take care of myself. I take care of my health. I get myself a really good sleep so that when my body sets off any alarms, I know whether my boundaries are being crossed, and I will step up and allow that to not happen. I will say, no, I am valuable enough to not let you cross. So understand these things. Position of power. People will use what they are, their titles, their names, their positions, whatever, to try and get you under their wing and do what they want. They'll use terms like, we're just trying to have a relationship with you, or we're just trying to do this, or, well, we just want to see the best for you. No, you know what? Your body and you and yourself are going to know what you're comfortable with, and you have every right to say yes and no to those things. One of the most common ways to be taken advantage of in today's world is by abuse of power. A reason for such massive amounts of abuse and power is the narcissistic acts of people, or people with narcissistic tendencies are often the ones at the top of the food chain. It's time for that to change, isn't it, people? They possess a key set of skills that rise them to power, along with a lack of empathy. They can be confused with it just basically can be confused with pro-magnetism and portray a level of confidence that assures them both supporters and results. And because you're doing what they tell you to do and you're acting that way and you're giving them the higher level as if they're better than you are actually handing that to them. The thing is this, and I'm like, people ask me all the time how I'm friends with the people I'm friends with, because they're considered pretty big people in the world. But you know what? I don't treat them like that. And I never have, and I never will. They are another human being. They just happen to be in a position of a job that's different than mine. And do I have the ability to be in that job, in that position as well? Yes, I do, because I am a human being as well, but I carry empathy. So if I get into those positions, so do my friends in that place. They definitely carry empathy. My friends that are in that place are amazing. I'm talking about other things, so I just want to get into that. Thing is, like, if you're other positions where people think they're of power and they think that they're untouchable, It's a lie. Anyways, I just want to break that down a bit. Empathy. Empathy is so important. My housemate began behaving strangely a few months. Well, this is now not my story. This is someone else's story that I'm reading, just so you're aware. So I put this out here because I took it from one of the studies. This is from one of the thought catalogs, just so you know. You can look it up online. And they kind of break down some of the things that I am talking about. And so I wanted to take some of the stuff they wrote because I thought this is a good story. I didn't really want to get too personal with mine right now. So we're going to go on this story. So my housemate began behaving strangely a few months after he moved in. But I let a lot of the behavior slide because I felt empathy for him. There was many conversations in which he told me the way he grew up, the challenges he met in his community and his relationships with his family members. When he began to act in an unacceptable manner, I would put it down to his issues with his parents or experiments he'd had when he was young. And because of his paranoia was so extreme, I felt that I couldn't be hard on him because he was clearly not in the right mind. People who have interests in abusing you or overstepping your boundaries can slip under their radar. If you have a large capacity for empathy, one of the most classic toxic relationship models is the empath and the narcissist. This is because highly sensitive people tend to want to help and nurture the narcissist. And this is true. So the reason I didn't want to go into anything personal, I wanted to put something else up here, is because a lot of my personal stories are still pretty fresh and they would affect other people. Thing is, if I walk through them, yes, but here's a story I can share that I know I have permission to. But where I was living, one of the things that people allowed me to understand was they said, you are a person of empathy, and many people have walked all over you. And they would show me, they would point out where people were walking over me or where they were worried about me. And they helped me see. And so sometimes it takes somebody like this just to have a community around to let you know you're being abused. You're not really even in a place where you can even think for yourself at the moment. You actually need a community to help you. Another thing that people will do is guilt and triangulation. So, like, for instance, when you're being made to feel guilty, or someone convinces us that we've somehow ruined a plan and puts their hurt feelings on us, or makes us say like that you caused the disrespect in some way, this basically has almost no consideration to your own feelings, and it is completely manipulating, and it's completely wrong. Everybody's responsible for how they react in a circumstance on their own. The other thing is gaslighting. This is something I unfortunately know so well, and I also know I've done it myself. And to all of those that I have done that, I apologize. I definitely had to learn how to be a better person. I definitely had to learn, how to live in life. I definitely modeled what I was taught, and I apologize. But gaslighting is basically a person who doesn't want to take responsibility for their actions. They'll try to blame it on you. They'll minimize it or completely deny them. And they'll try to even do something like saying, well, I think you're reacting like this way because of your own personal experience in this. That's crap. Anyone who's having to use words of manipulation or to try and persuade you to hear what they're trying to say, that's called gaslighting. Learn to stand against that. You don't have to stand for that. Another way of crossing boundaries and realizing your boundaries are being crossed is idolization and devaluation. When people devalue you, they'll at one point lift you up on this and then tear you down right here. That is very controlling and crossing boundaries. It's known as the hot and cold technique. It's an uneven footing place. People who use this technique will often employ idealization as a way to get you on their side. So that should never happen. It's not about sides. If someone's drawing a line in the sand, move away. It's not a side. It's not. Life is never about that. Anyways, guys, welcome to Lionheart Show, and some things you can do to help you understand when your boundaries are being crossed, and some things you can do to shift that. Welcome to the day. I hope you guys all go out there, feel safe, know that you're valuable and you matter. So number one, do something towards your dreams every day. Brings you one step closer. Number two, you are unique, valuable, and you need to understand that you're so valuable and you're so loved. Number three, you're a unique puzzle piece to the ultimate puzzle of the cosmos. I almost put the other second one together. Anyways, guys, peace out. Take care.